Ladies and gentlemen, to the PEL Phase 3, week number 4. And now we're moving on to Richard's final Sanhok game. You starting to get emotional?
Of PEL. We don't know, it might not be the final one this year. We don't
obviously.
Know. Maybe not.
I'm assuming you're going to be elsewhere in later on in the year. By the way, we're the Purple Bros today. This is totally unplanned.
Yeah, well, actually. And also, someone mentioned it, I have 2 of these. I don't just wear the same one back to back. I don't wear the same one every week.
See, I told my missus yesterday, and I was saying, I've got a purple shirt. I know Rich is wearing one because you left it here because you made sure you didn't forget it this time. And I was like, when I got a purple shirt, it's like, well, what did you wear yesterday? It's like, whoa. Can you imagine the feedback on Twitch?
Doesn't happen.
He's wearing the same shirt. It's unbelievable. But yes, I'm glad you brought it up, the fact that they thought you were wearing the same shirt. I can confirm it is
a different one. It's a bit of a tighter one. This one was a little bit thinner before I got fat. Or fatter, should I say, not got fat.
It's all right. Don't worry, Rich. The plan to slim down is
away from work, 6 weeks of building and not eating anything.
That's it.
Drinking water every day.
On the road. The amount of snacks available to the players here is it's very tempting, but thankfully these players are physical specimens.
For anyone who comes into the talent side of esports, just be prepared to put a stone on in your first year.
Yeah.
It always happens. You go from whatever you're doing to working to being on the road to sitting on your ass
to the rest of the world,
eating trash every day.
That's about 10 kilograms. I think maybe it's about 8 kilograms, 9 kilograms. I'm too sure. A stone. It's funny. I've had to get used to it. Because obviously, us English people still use. I don't know how we still use stone. It's like literally like the oldest measurement of like.
I have, due to working and talking.
How are we not metric is unbelievable, but
to a lot of Americans, I do kind of try and work in pounds these days.
Pounds? See, I'm no good with pounds. Okay, see, that's the American side, isn't it? Europe is all about kilograms, which is I'm fine with that. But anyway, diets and weight aside, CrowCrowd, another good win for them. An above-average performance, I believe, is Martin's perspective as in terms of their points over the last few days. We'll see how it is. It's interesting actually how many are getting there or thereabouts with 4 or 5 wins now. We have quite a few teams in there. GamerLegion 7 and DA all only have, and Liquid actually. Liquid, which is weird, Liquid only have 1 win so far. We're on match 58. They've got 1 single win, if I'm not mistaken. Now, somebody else can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I have. FaZe, on the other hand, are on 9 wins, way ahead of everyone else. But obviously you got NIP, Na'Vi on 6, Raise Your Edge are on 6, TSM are on 6. The wins. There's a lot of wins against them.
Serious note here: if Liquid don't have a good Sanhok, they're in the verge. Well, they're on the verge of being pushed out of 5th, and if they don't have a good day, they'll be on the verge of even being pushed out of 6th.
Well, there's saving grace at the moment is that G2 and NOP just also had a pretty awful first 2 games as well.
Yes.
Otherwise, they would have been down to 6th.
1 point between them and G2, and 11 points. No, excuse me, 21 points between them and NIP.
Yeah.
To see if Liquid fall out of the top 5,
they did get 5th in that last game because of ItzzChrizZ snaking, but they did no kills from it, so it was simply placement points.
Which I was surprised at because he was in quite an open and exposed. The amount of teams that were shooting at him, I'm surprised no one lobbed the nade or just went for it.
It's just, I think it's just purely down to the fact you couldn't overpeak.
You couldn't move, could you?
Yeah, you couldn't move because there's so many people.
Good
day, big smiles. That's what I like to see. Call them enter there. Actually had a pretty damn good last 2 games, so let's see who it is. DESPERADO saying, Gustav, if you're doing it wrong, this is what you're going to do. Sorting him out. Good start for FaZe Clan, though. Just took the top spot, if I'm not mistaken, with their 2 second place finishes. Could have been a double first. And wow, what a start that would have been. Nice. Well, it wasn't so great for them.
Matched up with 17 kills alongside CrowCrowd, but they beat him out just because of the first place and the previous one as well, which is interesting. Comes down to that.
We've not had a Na'Vi win this weekend, have we? We normally have a Na'Vi win almost every single week.
When was the last time we actually got a Na'Vi win, to be fair?
I think it was last week when you and Lauren were doing it.
Let me have a look, because they're another team that's not necessarily... It's their consistency which is Na'Vi's strongest point. Like,
yeah.
There seems to be, you want to say, a bit of a fall from grace here, but they're so damn strong.
They'll always get kills. That's the thing. They'll always get kills. So
they'll
there'll always be
having a bad
couple of points in there. No matter where they finish, there's generally going to be a couple of points. But here we go. Welcome to the jungle as we move to Sanhok.
Actually, they've had back-to-back 12 position in the last 2 days, haven't they?
Yeah, they've had some pretty bad days this weekend. It's not been great.
Third day 1 of week 3, 9th.
Oof, that plane path is pretty harsh. That's a pretty northern plane path. Okay.
It's fun, Lee. It's not harsh, it's fun.
Get to see it. It's going to make some interesting drops for any of the southern teams. And also, don't forget to keep your eyes on what happens in and around, I would say Barn, but it's more to the left of it, because G2 have been dropping onto DA a number of times over the last 2 days. We'll see if there's any adjustments to that. It's looking like it's going to happen again.
The bigger bonus is the fact that it's such a small map, regardless of the plane path, you can generally go wherever you like. You just long drop it.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, like, obviously you look at the grid size, like that's a normal grid on. If you saw the plane path on Mirror, you'd be like, oh, well, that's easy for everyone. But it's very different, but it is going to be G2, so they're going to go for these 2 compounds. You can see DA and G2. It's almost center screen. G2 are going to drop here, get what they can, and then instantly push on Mitraleius and BeautflDeath that are in that compound. So DA, still risky to go 2-2, but they're doing it. It's paid off for them the last 2 days.
We shall see. We're going to have some early action. Boots are on the ground, and it's 2-2 once again. It's whoever gets these initial opening frags. And really what guns and gear you get, because you land in those buildings, it's just like playing a public. As soon as you drop in Pachinki with 6 billion other people, you got to hope there's a gun in the building, otherwise you are knackered. So
they're going for the split, road split. So as you say,
we need to get the POV and have a look at what people have got. I'm really intrigued to see who's got guns. K98, it's not bad. It's probably good. Well, I mean, to be fair, Chris battered him with the Saga last week.
Yeah.
It was a long distance, because that's the thing. The shotguns do work because you've got no gear. And the fact that it's got range on it, double AR versus AR and K9. The K9 with no gear will one-shot regardless. So
he saw the cross, so he's tracking him. He knows they're backing out the back there. He's got a K98. He's put the hollow on it.
Do it.
On the AK, switches over, gets a little tap, but he knows they've gone. He knows they've gone already, so
scared him away.
Did what they really came to do, and you can see BeautflDeath. He's got a vest on, Tiikzu vest, but no helmet. Meanwhile, Mitraleius has got himself geared up a little bit, but they've already scared them off, and that was the plan. But
I'm intrigued to see if they go hunting them on the other side, because they should know where their partners are.
I think what they're going to do is push 6mo, and because now they know that 2 members have gone over there, they know there's only 2 in that other compound, because they're well aware of that where they've dropped.
They're in a vehicle, so if they hear this, they'll understand that they're rotating towards them. Oh, this could get funky. Liquid smells as well. Liquid's going their way.
Yeah.
Oh, I fear for DA here. And they'll get the vehicle pull up. Both of these teams. G2's pushing them one side, Liquid's pushing them on the other.
I actually think it's going to be mutually assured, and I think G2 is going to see Team Liquid down there and start shooting them instead.
FaZe Clan's here.
Oh, but James is right on it.
FaZe has turned. Fuzzface is here to watch all of this. He's just drove across.
Well, James gets 1 mert down, and G2 are going to be watching this going, oh, what? But I like it. I like the proactiveness that Team Liquid are putting on this, realizing the situation of what's going on between G2 and DA and saying, we want a piece of this.
This is smart from Fuzzface.
It also, to be fair, the circle has kind of led it this way, because it is a northern circle. So these are actually positional fights.
He's watching what's going on. He's not going to get involved in these fights. He's literally there for FaZe Clan to have a foothold within the circle, a bit deeper to the central point.
Look at G2. G2 have actually gone completely around them now. James goes down. That's a flush from 6mo. One thing I will say about DA is, while they do tend to sit in houses, they're very good at defending them. G2 have gone for the full flank, so they've realized Team Liquid have engaged on it and just said, you know what, we'll just go position. It was a great nade, by the way, bouncing it off the doorway.
Back of the door, yeah.
There's Fuzz. That's the bike you hear. That's Fuzz getting closer. Look at the minimap. You can see he's now got just the other side of that little lake.
And by the way, TSM's at the backside of all this. We have a lot of teams going for this central point.
Navi are slowly heading this way as well.
Oh, this is going to be a bloodbath. 1 tap, thank you. See you later. No helmet. It's going to happen.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to get the support he needs. 6mo is about to push that window. Gemty gets Mitraleius on the other side, and now they know 6mo is the last man standing because they've been watching the kill feed.
Dead.
Yeah, that's what he was expecting. Sixmo obviously took down Jeem, so they're well aware of his position. So, as you say, TSM have kind of moved on this. G2 have continued. They may actually bump into Raise Your Edge at the edge of Bootcamp. Not Bootcamp, Paradise Resort.
Big nade. They stamped it to the second one through. Oh, that'd have killed him as well. It'd have hit the side. Found its target. Sam was also damaged. Maybe he's just holding the cross. They've got him pinned inside and contained in this building, but the problem is that they can't do too much because then you get third-partied by FaZe. FaZe have got problems of their own. The Knights have turned up. You mentioned Na'Vi there in the distance. Behind all of this on Bootcamp and towards the hillside, you've got TSM. This is a four-way for the top of the table. These are all your big teams that are getting involved with one another.
N47 are down the road now as well at that crossroads.
If he cooks that will bounce and kill him. If it's cooked to perfection, get bounced and hit the door.
It hit him though. It hit him. It just didn't do enough. 69 is going to try and run and peek, and that's going straight into Ibby's crosshairs. And that will be a 4 kills picked up for Team Liquid. D8 going down first this time. Maybe feeling a little bit persecuted in this one. If it wasn't Team Liquid, G2 were coming for you. But G2, as I said, they've gone into Paradise Resort. Raise Your Edge have kind of allowed them in here. It is a massive compound to try and defend for one team. So not too surprised to see Raise Your Edge heading further north from this one.
I'm wondering if they know they were there. I saw a couple of shoulder peeks coming out of players on Raise Your Edge, which would suggest they have that information.
Oh, the Knights have snuck in on the hillside in between. How is this getting very tight?
This is risky. The added benefit is the fact that Adu's on his own, but it's still Adu's. He's still an insane fragger. Up close and personal, he'll do some damage with the weapon that he's got. Pokemon in the back with the 16, so he's got limited amount of cover fire he can do, but with still 5.56 at range, it's something, even if it just damages them. His teammates can follow through with that. Reels is the first one to take this opportunity to see what's going on, but Na'Vi are holding themselves for now and holding the bullets. This is probably to get them in an open position where they can just mow them down. The Knights will have no idea they're here, basically, until they're on top of them and they're in open range of fire. You kind of want to let them go at this stage, A, to get them in a better position so you can kill them instantly, and B, because you don't want to draw any more attention to you. For Na'Vi, they're in a very exposed area. Behind them, someone could creep up on them. If they can keep here for as long as possible without having any enemies and drawing much attention, then they probably prefer to do that than take this fight. 4 players and 4 potential points with losing an individual on your team might not necessarily be worth it because of the position that you're currently in.
Well, the fight for Team Liquid is justified as the circle goes their way. They did lose 1 man, but TSM also just slightly north of them. The Knights will be happy with their position at the moment, thinking they're safe, but as we saw Na'Vi with multiple players watching them. Reciprocity moving into the compound where DA and G2 originally dropped each other. So they've come across there, and 47 further north of them. You see 7 on your screens. They've just moved south out of their position as Udyr rocks up on the scooter.
I'm intrigued to see how the bikes are abused in the next patch, because you can turn off the engine sound and you can roll down.
Just coasting.
Yeah. A lot of them now are just rolling and coasting hillsides without any vehicle noise and running people over and turning up completely unannounced. I really expect the pro players to...
Rekka taking shots down on Na'Vi, so they finally showed their hand as Desperados continue to sneak around the edges of Paradise Resort. Further north, CrowCrowd, they need to start squeezing into the new circle, looking to face off against Raise Your Edge as NELLOZ can get over the wall. There we go. Took a little bit of work. He's smashing that space bar. NIP.
It's not really a bad position.
Everybody's kind of in now. TSM, we saw TSM doing this the other day, by the way. Gustav staying in boot camp, just giving an aerial view of boot camp. Basically, it's got an easy escape. He's not really going to get caught out in there. He's got an easy escape out of there. Yeah, this is a battle we've been seeing over and over and over and over and over again. ENCE basically running into the back of either N47 or Reciprocity, depending on where the circle pulls them. They are a team that loots on the far southeast of the map, so it causes problems to rotate in. They have to buffer against them, and every time they always lose a player.
I'm seeing tracer fire on the side of Na'Vi. which just they've actually given away position.
GamerLegion trying to make the way down south. That's actually CrowCrowd and Sadovnik that's taking shots. It's like a crossfire going on at the moment as they all try and move into position. Bjorn looking himself safe. Not been a good day. Not been a good weekend, really, overall for GamerLegion. Losing players early on for various reasons. You never really want to lose someone. CrowCrowd are out. Oh no, they're GamerLegion are basically pushing it back from 7 and they're running straight into CrowCrowd. Oh, but they've spotted Misa, so they've not been caught off guard. Now NOOKIE is on a flank position. Tiikzu's coming over to help along with Dimit. Misa's going to move up. Wants to get to that rock, but he's now in a really tough spot behind this tree. He's going to have to make... Oh, no, there's an 8. Now it's going to force his move. Hamster catches him off. NOOKIE and Timmy are moving around the side, but is it going to be too late? It will be for Misa. He's gone.
Not getting away from that one. That's going to be a confirmed kill. The rest of them have to disengage the battle and try and find a better foothold on this one because they are still playing outskirts regardless of where it is. Okay, on Tatmok, you'll have some level of defense, but Circle hard shifts more towards the eastern side. ENCE, they're going to be well happy with that one, especially after losing SKUIJKE much earlier on. Called a mentor now. It's signs of life from the backside for Raise Your Edge because there is a bit of a conflict here. GL are well and truly trapped, and for Raise Your Edge, they're having a banging day. They are feeling it, so maybe they even get a bit advantageous and try and take a few frags on that opposing side while this whole battle goes down. CC7 and GamerLegion all in a 3-way.
Very aggressive stuff from 7. I love to see it. We're finally starting to see some of the aggression that they've been showing back in contenders, but that's kind of backfired on them pretty quickly there. Krabic did finish off GamerLegion, but it's CrowCrowd that are pulling them to the sword at the moment. That's what they've realized. They were not expecting NOOKIE to be over and Tatmok there. They will get the revive back on Edelweiss. Everyone's back on their feet. They did lose Sadovnik. He was the only man. So the IGL down, but CrowCrowd have pincered on this. Look at the movement on the hill. Tiikzu and Dimit coming over the top. NOOKIE's keeping them in vision as best he can. He's trying to flank around to give them the position they need. And there's Timmy. Rips Edelweiss straight down. He just got back on his feet. That grenade is going to go straight back in his view. Over to Krabic, actually looking good, but I think he caught a tree possibly as it was trying to make its way across. Timmy continuing to hold them up as Tiikzu makes the move. Good flank from Buster. Look at this.
All the way around, they won't have the info. There's so tunnel visioned on the players that are in front of them and the conflict that has essentially just appeared.
Raise Your Edge are moving over the road. Raise Your Edge are moving towards this. So 7, if they back away, they're going straight to Raise Your Edge.
They've been here for a while just lingering and waiting for these teams to move forward because of the blue. They know that there is an evacuation process into the back of Paradise. My only concern is if G2 decide to get hyper-aggressive and deny the safety net of Paradise. If they push toward the backside in the courtyard, they can essentially pin Raise Your Edge in the blue, which is what Raise Your Edge is doing to these two teams now. They're forcing the bleed outs onto them. They're going to get them while they're weak. Yes, they're picking up frags. It all depends on the movement and the pincer of G2. If they stay where they are now, if they've got a read on TSM, if they want to keep the better angle on the circle, then fair play. Do what you boys want. Keep 4 alive. But they could essentially just copycat what Raise Your Edge is doing now to these teams out in the blue.
The bike, it's Tiikzu. It was trying to draw the attention. They didn't want to lose him to that one. Krabic down to 6 hit points. NOOKIE landing the damage. The grenade will follow through. Oh, that's right on top of Krabic. That grenade will be, but Buster, he was the surprise factor and absolutely has caught them off guard. CrowCrowd are in trouble. He's in the open. Buster doing what he can. Where's Raise Your Edge on this one? They're still just going to sit back and watch. SIMSY drawing back because they are watching for the next circle. And this is simply mutually assured destruction now between these two teams.
They took their time. They played for frags. Didn't quite work out. Raise Your Edge will just continue onwards. Both of these teams have just battered one another. CrowCrowd comes out on top. But it's not without a response. Circle does update. Liquid, Na'Vi, and M47, if you class it as a triangle. It's TSM who could gatekeep here. TSM, G2, DESPERADO's Raise Your Edge. This will be an absolute massive battle for the northern side of that circle. There's very limited amount of room for all 4 of those teams to breathe within the circle. Hell, if they even get to it, it'll be no wonder. Raise Your Edge could still kick off with G2. It's going to be so messy. The northern side of the circle, I know you've got fights down the south as well. NIP, FaZe, Na'Vi. This is this is going to be messy. There's going to be so many deaths that we're going to miss. Just keep your eyes on the kill feed.
And look at TSM's positioning. They're basically positioning to catch everybody coming out of Paradise Resort.
Yep.
They've realized that there's so many there. So Desperados are now engaging with G2. TSM have kind of got this massive long line of a flank. They know they're safe because Gustav's got a safe position. Now they move into the circle. They're thinking, right, we can catch so many kills from this and see what we can benefit. So, as you say, it's a four-way battle. ENCE have even moved in to try and cover off Desperados and catch what they can. NIP and Na'Vi, no surprises, they're engaging. FaZe are pushing in the back of NIP. The Knights are being drawn into it. We have two massive fights on the south and the north. It's going to get very messy. And there's definitely not going to be 46 kills alive. That nade, it took him to one. It bounced up, kicked over the rock. And I'm surprised he's still alive, actually, and been able to get that med off.
G2 have actually opened fire onto two different rosters here. And they've engaged. Oh, in fact, you know, ENCE has just gone in the party. I didn't realize whatsoever. So the northern side is a complete catastrophe for some of these. Raise Your Edge also lose one. Coldamenta instant Ira. That's going to be from across the parkway into G2 as they just evacuate Paradise. Desperados have got a bit closer to TSM. TSM will have to kind of pick and choose and maybe funnel who they get first, to be fair.
God. It's a five-way pylon. It's a five-way pylon. NIP are absolutely massacring FaZe, meanwhile, down south. Na'Vi are moving in to stab NIP in the back. You can see mxey is the last man standing for them. The picture-in-picture, that's where the action is. There's 5 teams all in the mixer. Raise Your Edge will fall. G2 will probably follow. CrowCrowd still bleeding out in the distance. ENCE have also been destroyed in the process. It has been a bloodbath in that northern fight. FaZe Clan, well, look at this. If you can see the mini-map, if you can see the map screen open, you can see Na'Vi are surrounding them. The Knights are moving on them as well. All down the south, it's getting messy, both sides. And meanwhile, Team Liquid and the Knights just sit in the middle and watch this all play out.
The bombardment still continues from G2 onto TSM. I think Gustav might be the last man standing. I'm not entirely sure. I've been struggling to keep track of this one, but they can push him from both different angles. Yes, indeed, TSM do not make it out of the top 10. They will stay 10th position on their tombstone. Senya onto mxey. That should be FaZe Clan gone. 9th position for them. Job done. TomiL now back onto G2. Calvin at least follows up with the knock that he had earlier on. And this will be a good push from them, because should they be able to get this, then they've got a bit of a freeway and a free walk in towards M47.
Braexco sees one, but he's waiting for more. Timmy is still going in the blue. So he's actually outlasted and got into the positional placements because of what's just happened outside of Paradise Resort.
They're not clearing Braexco. They're not clearing him. They've no idea he's here. Oh, yeah. No.
He's just going to run in behind them.
Oh,
he's got 2 first aids as well, so he should be able to survive in the blue for a little bit longer.
Fast enough. Should do, surely.
Yep, that's going to be the one. So he's going to get inside. The problem is, at this phase, and a lot of players have talked about this, the blue moves so fast at these phases on this map. SIMSY's got to hear these shots, these footsteps now. I'm thinking, what the hell did he just come from? Braexco comes out of the blue. They're probably going to turn back on him. TomiL is just the other side of the ridgeline. You can see he has clear vision on him, which is why Braexco had to move. He's going to duck down and get away from this one, though. But no, Reals will see him in distance. So let's look at the circle. So Na'Vi swept out NIP. They destroyed them. NIP in turn had taken down FaZe Clan. The Knights, who Na'Vi had watched the whole time, have pretty much the central covered, but there's no compounds there. It's very much just simply living in the ditches, up on the hills, taking peak views. N47 are still looking golden. They have reciprocity coming up over the hill towards them. And Team Liquid, of course, there is still in this compound. We saw them wrestle from Digital Athletics.
Fortunately, the overpeaker will be there. NOOKIE initially gets the opener. Onto Page, Ival, T-Bone, and all the rest of them will at least respond here. Vasco is forced out into the blue, which is a difficult scenario for him to see how many hit points he actually has, and no stim. Ooh, that grenade's good.
He timed it. He timed it. He knew it was happening. Where's that nade gone? T-Bone tossing out the nade. Says he hasn't read a book since he was 6. I'm not too sure I believe that one. I'd like to think the British education system is a little stronger than that, but you never know. Team Liquid, they're on the move in the north. Reciprocity and N47 still going at it. This is for a battle for position on the west and the east. East and west, and all over the shop today.
I suppose if you want to talk a bit about Na'Vi, playing off against the Knights and not going straight in for it earlier on has kind of proved it. They didn't have to get into too many fights, then they could clean up who else arrived. Had they been in an engagement early, teams would have avoided that scenario, so they picked up frags by actually holding themselves. Rec finally opening up.
Na'Vi are on the sweep. They're going to come around. They're coming around the back side of Reciprocity. It's the best and Aduzi. The big bulldozers are moving around, and Shiv's about to get backstabbed. He's turned around and noticed it. Scoom's already trying to scurry up the hillside, but it may be too late, and it will be. Senya finds him. Scoom's going to come over the brow of that hill and see 4 angry Russians looking in his direction.
Scoom will be the last man standing, and not a lot he can do. Oh, wanted. That was a bit of a misread. Good play from Jempty to kind of outmaneuver him. Ibi now forced into the fray. Liquid can't really be affording to lose more bodies. Oh, they've lost them back to back. It's Temi from nowhere. Get out of here. Ibi will be
6th place for CrowCrowd.
He'll be so pissed at that. That's an awful, like, to stay alive for so long, then you appear from the blue. It's one of those scenarios that just really infuriates you and frustrates players.
You just think, why? What is he there for?
Yeah.
N47, meanwhile, obviously dealt with Reciprocity, so they've swept around, and then now they're behind the Pittsburgh Knights. N47 still with a big chance to pick up a win here. Still the only team hunting a victory here, which is incredible when you think of their position in the tables. Na'Vi, though, 4 men strong, have had a woeful performance this weekend with some poor points over the last 2 days. He'd be trying to flank around, but Drayden is ready and waiting for him. And that's going to be Liquid down in 4th place.
I'm assuming he was walking on the edge just to maybe deny points. Did come a bit too far and took away his health a little bit too much. If he wanted to take the fight, you'd assume maybe double questioned himself.
Na'Vi have totally took control of this circle.
I mean, you were speaking about it yesterday. Well, we both were, how this, so far, Sanhok really hasn't been their game. So this is quite nice for them to be able to bag a good amount of points. It all depends, though, if they focus fire towards M47 and Znark and Drayden decide that they want to step up and get involved.
That nade, no, not going to go for it. Suspects that there's somebody at their rock.
The blue.
Can't see him. That's going to
blue.
force Evil to move. Now they're going to have to go. So N47 are going to get caught off by Na'Vi here, and that's a double takedown. That's just going to leave T-Bone, who's out in the blue all alone. The Knights also being dealt with. Na'Vi are just absolutely decimating them. Drayden and Snark, the last 2 standing for the Knights. That's going to be 1 down. Snark, the last man standing. He gets found, and Na'Vi decimate their opponents. They sat and watched the Pittsburgh Knights right from the beginning, knew exactly where they were. And there's an 11-kill win for the Russians. Their 7th win so far. And it's ironic that we started this game talking about Na'Vi, how they haven't had a win this weekend. And there you go, they get one back on the board once again. I wonder if that's the Chicken Dinner World Tour or whatever they've been calling it on the desk. I got a feeling it might be. Got a feeling it might well be. I feel like that may be their completion. They've definitely won a bunch on Miramar. I don't know whether they've had Erangel wins just yet, but almost certainly may well be. But Na'Vi, I mean, honestly, they benefited from NIP and FaZe fighting, then they swept around the Reciprocity and N47 fighting, and then took full control of the circle and deserved the win, honestly. They played the map as it should be, how Sanhok plays out. It was all about the battles at Paradise Resort, 5 teams taking each other out. And all credit to CrowCrowd for getting, what, 5th out of that, 4th out of that, something like that, crazy. Let's see Paolo, though. You can see him all dressed in denim. He's ready for Na'Vi.
I am all dressed in denim. D-man, that's correct. Oi, oi. Pokemola, yeah, I'm going to speak to Best Lock. You can run off to the toilet, Aduzi. It's been a tougher weekend than usual, would you say?
Yes, it is.
For what reasons, Best Lock?
We just played very bad. We have some problems with Miramar and Sanhok, of course. We have the worst Sanhok, I think, of all PL. Like, that's all.
Nonetheless, you got the win now on Sanhok. How did you make the win happen?
Just circle help us, and we choose a good side to play and just win it.
The final circle you guys had very strong control over. What was the tactic controlling that space?
We know that all of us guys stayed at the other side, and we know that we killed Reciprocity, like from right of us, and control all the zone. That's all.
2 more matches to go today, both on Erangel. Do you think after this win you've got a better chance on them?
Not better, just like same chance. I don't know.
Confidence increasing a bit? Good stuff. All right, the confidence is coming back to Na'Vi. It's been a pretty tough weekend so far. Best luck, though. Feeling good after this Sanhok win. All right, let's head back to the desk.
Na'Vi sweeps the final circle there to be able to bag themselves the chicken dinner here on Sanhok. So great stuff to see them kind of on that true road to recovery, even though they're still part of the Big Five as a whole. Gentlemen, that is their Sanhok win in the bag. Martin, what do you think?
I think that's Chicken Dinner World Tour.
You didn't even put the spring on it at the end.
We could do a little bit more. No, it's great to see that they're also able to win on Sanhok, obviously. It's a matter of time before more and more gets there, but as we talked about a few times, I think it's going to be around the half of the teams is going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Na'Vi, one more of the Big Five that joins us in doing so.
How many teams have now?
6.
6? Actually, that's more than I was expecting.
TSM, FaZe, Na'Vi, NIP, Reciprocity, and CrowCrowd.
Damn. Good job for us. Anyway, talk to us about this game.
About this game.
Yeah.
One thing we saw earlier that I really liked was Team Liquid's breach on Digital Athletics, actually. They know that the A actually loots just east of them in the little compound there. And what they did was basically they had 3 guys coming in from the east side, and then they had Gemty on the north side, holding not just the windows and all the buildings there, but also giving the information to their guys. Saying, hey, there's 2 guys on this side, you guys focus on the other 2 on your side, and I'll tell you what's going on. And then they just swept the houses on the south side and just sandwiched the guys on the north.
Considering the circle, it definitely even gave them, I guess, more confidence early on, because it gives you then more room to work with, especially on a map like Sanhok that can be a bit notorious to not have much room to work with.
For me here, I want to talk about Na'Vi here, because a few times what we saw them do is they play passive at the right time, because obviously on Sanhok the circle moves very fast. The casters talked about it as well, but overall it moves faster than the other maps. But they were managing the circle so well, third partying and gatekeeping at the right times, but when they had to move, they were already a step ahead of the circle compared to everyone else.
F's in the chat for FaZe in 16th place there, but let's take a look at our 1 through 8s as we have Na'Vi up towards the top. 21 points for them. Team Liquid, a better game on the board. 11 points coming in. I'm slamming the desk because I'm so passionate about this point for us.
Finally, they're doing some good damage here, getting themselves some points, but also M47 getting themselves 10 points. We do know M47, I talk about them a lot on Sanhok because they are doing good there.
Well, it's the second third in a row as well here for the day for N47, which then ultimately, I love it because they're basically here to stay. It feels that way, right? They're so strong to have come in from the Valiant positioning contenders now through to this spot.
Agreed. And on top of that as well, I think it was also the first win they can get. It can potentially only be on Sanhok now at this point, right? Because they're so good on Sanhok, and other maps they're okay on, but it would feel nice to see if they got the first win on Sanhok. But overall, no, as you said, they're a team to stay. They're here to stay. They're way ahead of the rest of the mid pack. I would say they're a contender for our top 8. They're a contender to stay and get into the money, and especially for our next season, they're going to be looking so much stronger.
Definitely so, and that brings Sanhok to a conclusion, of course, as we did have that circle play out east of boot camp and everything that does go down with that. Gentlemen, moving on to Erangel in a few moments' time here. Obviously, across the day, we've had a few varied results here and there. What are your anticipations coming in?
I mean, overall, I want to see some more step up from Na'Vi here. Continue, obviously.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more fun to see multiple teams vie to get the first place here. I was looking after so far what we've seen from Na'Vi, and especially in the beginning. I was looking to see them in the top. I was looking to see them contest for first place, but right now it's been very much TSM and FaZe that have been kind of in that position to do so.
I'm hoping that Liquid can turn around on Erangel now, because we saw them here turn around a little bit, but it's not quite there yet. Still 4th place, and what was it, 7 kills or something?
Yeah, 7 kills.
So basically, it's a warm-up for Erangel for them.
Yeah, So there was one name, obviously, that was very prevalent during yesterday's Erangel games. That was NIP. We're expecting things from them as well, showing the dominance.
Oh,
yesterday.
so far today, 3 games, 3 points. So it's been rough.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to kind of transition the momentum from yesterday and kind of put it into today. Erangel is a good map from them. We saw that yesterday as well. I want to see them step up so they finish on a high note, as we talked about earlier.
I mean, we talk about NIP. First day, they have 41 points. Second day, which is yesterday, they have 55 points. Today, 3 points so far, 2 maps left. I don't really see it happening right now.
I just want to see them get 1 more point so they can reach the 100 points for a week. Because they're sitting on 99 right now for the week.
So 1 more point.
1 more point, and
In 2 games.
I know it can be hard for some teams to get that, but yesterday we saw them being able to do that.
We're leaving it at that. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Time to go to a short break here. Before we go on to our Erangel and games, and look, right, I'm going to tell you right now, if you go anywhere, it's going to be a hell to pay. I'll tell you that. But for now, we're going to go to Social Club. Let's check it out.